Notice behind me Assen Landing Beach, where on July 21st, 1945, thousands of U.S. soldiers gave their lives to rid the Chamorro people of Japanese occupation. With my movie, I'll show you all the places we would go if you came to my island, but first would have to be the best snorkeling spot on Guam. It doesn't have a name, but it's still one of the best. One thing you can bet about Guam is that we have some beautiful beaches. I would have to say I would go to Kodiak Island, Alaska. The reason for that is my brother lives there with his wife and their 2 sons. While I'm there, I'm going to go hunting, fishing, and just hanging out with the family. If I was in charge of the world for a whole day, I would make sure every person had a piece of fertile land so that no one would ever go hungry. Okay, these are my study tips and tricks. First off, I would have to say that I connect things. Meaning, when I'm asked a question, I use what I know and I connect it with the main things in that question. Basically, like context clues, you use things that relate to each other. Second of all, I would have to say that I never study for long periods of time. I study for short periods of time with many intervals so that you don't get overwhelmed. And lastly, I would have to say that right before the competition, you should never cram, because cramming leads to nervousness, and nervousness leads to forgetting answers. At this point in time, I'm not quite sure what I want to be when I grow up, but whatever it is, I know I want to make the world a better place in which to live. If I could trade places with any famous world explorer, it would have to be Ferdinand Magellan, because his whole life was dedicated to conquering his fears and going beyond the unknown. Behind me is Umatic Bay, where Magellan first landed in Guam. Hey Nat Geo, did you know that Guam was the first Pacific island to be discovered by Europeans? In 1521, on this spot, Ferdinand Magellan first came ashore on the island of Guam. Being green to me means staying close to nature and appreciating God's creation and making sure I take care of it. Personally, I choose not to drive an automobile. I'd rather ride my caravel.